This video provides a brief tutorial on using the Metro Nashville ePermit system. This will enable you to apply for and obtain permits online. This video is specific to obtaining a permit under an existing building permit that has been previously issued. To access the ePermit system, using any modern web browser, such as Microsoft Internet Explorer, Firefox, or Chrome, enter the web address epermits.nashville.gov. Once you do this, you will be presented with a homepage similar to this. To apply for a permit, click the Apply for Permit button on the left of the screen. You'll be prompted for your login. If you previously had a login to the old ePermit system, that login is also valid here, but your password will be updated temporarily to match your username. Therefore, your old password will not work. So for instance, if my username is 123456, my password will now be 123456. Once I enter my username and password, click Login to ePermits. You will be presented with your company's homepage, which will list all of your permits that are currently associated to your contract licenses. In this case, this contractor has many permits, therefore there are many pages below, and they will be listed from newest to oldest in this list. Depending on how many permits you have active will also depend on how long this list is. At this point, I do have the option of changing my password if I want to get rid of my default password that is the same as my login. To do this, click the Change Password button at the top of the screen. Enter your original password, which for this case was 123456. Enter your new password twice, once in the new password box and again to confirm, and click the Change Password button. You will then be logged out of the system and will need to re-log in with your new password that you just set. Now, if I wish to apply for a permit under an existing building permit for which that trade permit has been authorized, click the Apply for Permit button. Terms and conditions for applying for permits online will be presented to you. Please read them and agree by clicking the OK button. At this point, you will be given the choice to apply for a permit under an existing building permit or apply for a permit not under an existing building permit. If you apply for a permit using the second option, it will require review by Metro personnel to approve the payment and issuance of that permit online. If you apply for a permit under an existing building permit for which the scope of your permit has previously been authorized, then you may issue the permit to yourself online without any additional review. So for this instance, I'm going to apply for a permit under an existing building permit. So click that option. I do need to search for the permit in which I need to relate my new permit to. I can either use the building permit number. Note this is not the tracking number. This is the permit number itself. I can use an address. I can also use a parcel number or an assessor's parcel number, abbreviated APN, the owner of the parcel, or a portion of the name of the contractor. I say a portion of the name because these search boxes will find any of the text that is within it, within the search criteria. So in this case, I'm going to use the address, and to change, I just click, if I want to use permit number, I click on permit number, and you'll see the checkbox there. In this case, I'm going to enter an address, and to execute my search, I want to click the search button or the magnifying glass to the right of the field. Clicking that will return any addresses. If there are multiple addresses that match that, maybe if there are suites, or I only did 700 Timber and there's a lane or an avenue, I would see those multiple addresses. But since there is only one match here, it's showing me all the permits that have been issued against that particular address. I will note here there are two active permits, both with similar scopes. Both are commercial rehabs. So I may not necessarily know which is the correct permit, so I need to review the scope carefully. So I select the permit and review the scope. I look at this one. This is rehab work to a kitchen, and the only child permit is an electrical permit. I'm looking to do a plumbing work based on the rehab plans that I have, so it becomes apparent that this may not be the permit that I'm looking for. Click the back button to go back to the permits list. I noticed there was a second permit here, also for commercial or residential building rehab. So let me check this one. It's the same address and the same building permit type. In this case, I see that there is a plumbing permit authorized on this rehab permit. I believe this is the correct permit because the scope is also agrees with the work that I'm doing. Once I have confirmed this is correct, click the next button to go on to the permit, create the child permits. The list here will list any permits that are allowed based on the scope of that rehab permit. So in this case, the only one that shows up in the list is a plumbing permit because that is the only authorized trade permit under this building permit. So I'll select the plumbing permit. I'll select the subtype, which will give me three options for a plumbing permit: a full plumbing permit, just a yard water or sewer, or sewer water repair. In this case, I'm doing interior fixture work, and so I'm going to be using the CAPL subtype as well. So in the scope field, which is required, any of the fields in ePermit system that have the red asterisk are required fields to be able to continue to the next step in the process. In the scope field, enter the greatest amount of detail that you can. Will also be presented with my licenses that I have associated to my login. In this case, in most cases, the default license is the most applicable to the permit that I am applying for. So most of the times I can just rely on this and not have to select a different license. If for some reason I did need to change the license, I could do that at this time. Once the scope, the permit type and subtype, and the license has been selected, click the next button. The applicant and contact information can be entered at this time, or I can use the information from my license that is already on file with Metro. To copy that in automatically, click the My Information button. I can also alter this information. For instance, if I had a specific foreman that I wanted to have get inspection notification emails, I could change that at this time. So I can change his name, perhaps a contact number, as well as the email address. Once I have made the changes desired, I can now hit the next button to go to the next step. On step 6, I need to enter the construction value of the work. This is a required field, as well as the fixtures or plumbing aspects that I am doing for this particular permit. Once I am satisfied with the quantities that I have entered for the scope of the permit, I can click Complete Application at the bottom of the screen. Once I complete the application, I will be presented with the quantities as well as the associated fees for this particular permit. You will notice that there is also a convenience fee detailed here. If a credit card is used to pay for this permit, a 2.3% convenience fee will be charged on all of those transactions. This fee is collected by Metro, but is not received by Metro. To pay for the permit, click Proceed to Payment. On the payment screen, you may enter a credit card. You can also copy your information over from your license. Of course, this does not include your credit card number, but it does include your name and billing address. So this is helpful to bring this information in. Enter your credit card number, as well as the expiration date, and the 3 or 4 digit secret code on the back of your card. Once you have entered this information, you may submit payment. If for some reason you did not want to pay for this permit online and wanted to come into the office to pay for the permit, you could click Pay by Another Method at this time. For this instance, we'll use the convenience of using our credit card to pay for this permit. So click the Submit Payment button. A few seconds will pass. If your credit card authorization is successful, you will be presented with a message that says your permit has been issued along with the type and number of the permit. To print your permit, click the Print button and select CA Permits for a Codes Administration permit and click Print. Depending on your browser, the permit may immediately display in your browser, or you may have an option to open, save the permit PDF. If I want to open the permit to view it and maybe print it out, click the Open button if you're using Internet Explorer. You'll be presented with the permit in Acrobat Reader. If you do not have Acrobat Reader, you may download it for free on the internet.